if the people who voted for Jill Stein, just Jill Stein, in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania had voted for Hillary instead, Donald Trump would have never become president. That's it, right? And so, I'm sure there's a lot of Cornell West fans out there. You live in a swing state, you vote for Cornell West, you're helping Trump become president. That's it. And you can say, oh, well, it's Joe Biden's fault. He did this or that. No. It's your decision. You get to decide whether you want to help Donald Trump become president or you don't. And if you want to help him, then you should vote for Cornel West, or you should vote for Joe Manchin and his no labels ticket, or you can vote for, RFK Jr. if he decides to run third party. But if you don't want to help Trump become president, you got to vote for Joe Biden. That's it. Very simple. Now, I think messaging to voters who might actually make this decision is probably a little different, I would say, because
No, chastising works.
I do think you need to explain why these candidates would not be good candidates for president. I really do, because I think we could get tripped up in that, because I think if you are one of these voters and you hear a bunch of people yelling at you to vote for Joe Biden and because you have to, I don't think it's going to be very effective. And I think you have to say why RFK Jr. is not a good choice, why Cornel West is not a good choice, why Joe Manchin, or whoever it may be, is not a good choice. So that is something that I think Democrats are going to have to figure out in the next year. Finally,
it's a real example of what C. Wright Mills called crackpot realism, where he talked about these Cold Warriors who were so obsessed with what was realistic in terms of fighting the Cold War, but their premises were insane. Like, what they were operating off of was an insane premise, and the entire Obama era and Clinton era Democratic Party has been operating off of this insane premise that we can totally disengage from actually doing politics or having a base. We can just operate on like the technocratic level and make deals and stay behind the scenes and do nudges, and we're still going to be a viable political party.
Yeah.
That premise was insane. And the thing that haunted me today, this week, like talking about stuff that happened this week, was that article in Politico about the Michigan campaign.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like that is why I hope that like a great director someday makes a movie about the Hillary Clinton campaign. Maybe Adam Curtis, maybe Werner Herzog, Paul Thomas Anderson, somebody like that, because the Clinton campaign was the entirety of post-70s managerial liberalism in miniature. It was, we have our charts, we have our data. They say we don't have to campaign in Michigan. They say that we're going to have these states in the bag. What? Just like look at our charts. They say that NAFTA is a net positive for the American worker, and people are going to appreciate the cheap stuff that they can buy at Walmart. Meanwhile, the middle of the country is just turned into a fucking howling snake pit of fentanyl addicts and empty factories, and the whole time they're just totally oblivious to the ground completely collapsing below their feet. And then they look around and they're in the fucking hole, and they don't know, how the hell did we get here?
This is how the managerial class wins, no matter who's in office. They win no matter who's in office. They can contextualize their losses over and over and over again, and that the public is not obedient to their will and their assumptions, even though they don't play politics, as in they don't give people anything. They just do speeches. They write shit. They try to contextualize your subjugation and your eternal loss of wages, economic mobility, and an ability to participate in culture or our communities. We work more, we're more productive than we've ever been. Wages versus fucking living costs, they don't grow at the same rate. It gets worse every year, whether Democrats in office, whether fucking Republicans in office, it doesn't matter. And when Trump got all that shit through, he did it with working with Democrats. If you give them the keys, they do the same thing. Same shit's happened with fucking Biden. Happens over and over and over again, no matter who's in office when it comes to established parties, because they're owned by corporations, just like Jon Favreau or whatever the fuck his name is from Pod Saves America. They're making money. They wouldn't talk about it if they weren't. They're invested. They have to explain their losses. They have to explain why they lose all the fucking time. And they have to compromise all the fucking time because they're fucking losers. They're losers with degrees. They don't help people. They don't care about people. They don't give a shit. They don't talk about the real issues. They just talk about how the public isn't obedient to their fucking opinion.